Hello and welcome to another episode of the Real Shot 256. This is Evening Crypto, and tonight we are also going to keep it on a steady level. We're going to go into the charts. Not really any much to talk about in the news, so let's really dive into the charts here. Now, before before I do that, I do want to give you. I really want to give you guys a reminder to please follow on Twitter. And if you don't, this is what will happen to you. So go to Twitter right now, look me up, The Real Shaw 256. Go ahead and add me. And when you do, please hit me up. Let me know you're following. All right. I know a couple of you do a good job at that. So reminder, if you don't go over there and follow and also hit the follow button or the subscribe button here on the YouTubes. This is what's coming to you. It's a promise. All right, guys, let's do a quick recap before we get into the charts. We're looking at 197 billion dollars for market cap, 59 in the last 24 hours. This volume does or is in a slippery slope and is continuing to decrease while the Bitcoin dominance pretty much staying steady. All right, not much going on there. All right, so that is it for the recap. Just want to go ahead and get into the charts. I guess Tesos is still pretty much at everybody's mind since it's been the only one really running or really doing anything different. You can say the same thing maybe for Cosmos. Cosmos is almost 7% at one point earlier today, but Tesla's just really just taking it from the gate, I guess. VeChain's also doing pretty good. Up about 9.5% on the day. Not a bad move. Let's actually get into that. Let's start off with VeChain because that's one that I usually am. Sorry about that. That's one that I'm usually following. So let's look at VeChain. Yeah, look at that. It's actually looking like a nice breakout. Looking like a really nice breakout. I mean, it broke above this pivot point here. Broke above the 21. It seems to be getting stopped by the 89 EMA there. But look at these previous pivots. It is trading above both of these pivots, so I mean it's looking pretty good as long as we can continue, or it can continue the run above the 89, and then retest the 200 simple here, and then we'll see from there. But I do think there's some legs there. Volume though, yeah, I mean everything's agreeing with that. I mean everything's in line, so there is a good possibility that this can continue to run. Where might it stop? Well, the 200 simple is a good spot there. 0.006667. That's where we might find a resting point, and then we'll have to reassess, see if it actually wants to get above or just wants to continue to run above that area there. I am going to leave this this trend line here right around here. So again, we're going to have plenty of resistance here at the 200 simple, and also going back to this previous pivot low here. That should act as plenty of resistance. We'll see if it actually breaks through. We'll have to reassess. If it actually breaks through that, we might actually come back and retest. What is this? 0.007219. That's the VeChain tether pair. All right, so just keep that in mind. I'm looking at the 4-hour. So yeah, I mean, it's some I guess something nice to talk about in this otherwise pretty boring market. Let's also go back to what was the so let's go back to Tesos and look at Tesos. If you are a Tesos bag holder, good for you. Let's look at Tesos real quick. Let's look at Tether. We want to look at the Tether pair. Coming back down, yeah. I mean, it's looking pretty topish. Looking pretty topish. We'll see what happens here in the next few hours. What are these stupid things here? All right. Let's see. Let's actually look at the bigger picture to try to really determine or try to really guess at this and see what might actually happen. Look, so the daily still looks like it's got some legs on the daily. Definitely a bullish posture. I mean, there's not a whole lot of price history with this. Maybe a different chart. Let's do XZ USD. Maybe Kraken has a longer price history on this. Yeah, they do. Beautiful. All right, so yeah, and here we are. Yeah, I mean every major and simple moving average just looking very bullish. I mean, look at this. It really got above this previous pivot, but could not get past this all-time high, or not all-time high, because we started at a higher price when it first launched. So I mean, cannot get above this previous pivot high here, close to the all-time high. So you know, it does look like a clear rejection. Does it have any more to give? I mean, yeah, technically, I mean, RSI volume looking like, it's pretty early on and looking like, we are going to get another 4-hour tick here in the next 15 minutes while we are recording this video. So we'll get to see what the next 4-hour looks like. Let's actually go back here in a little bit and just see where things are going. But so far, I mean, it looks like it's walking it back down. As long as it doesn't get past this previous candle here at 1.67, there might be some continuation. There might be a chance that we do continue. I mean, it could go either way, right? Obviously, but as long as we don't break below this here 1.67, I think there's a chance that there's another try, a retry of this candle high here, which was 1.8476, right up here, 1.8476. So there's a chance that it might try that, but otherwise, I mean, it definitely looks like it could come back and retest the 30. It's already given back a lot of this here, this last green candle here. So we'll see where it ends here in the next 15 minutes exactly. We'll come back and relook or have another look at it before we wrap up the video for today. Another big thing. I mean, S&P, right? Traditional markets, they just keep climbing and climbing and climbing. Mr. Donald Trump, our president, did tweet out that we are very, very close to a big deal, right? I mean, he always says this sort of thing. That's why he's a master of disaster. He's always like, he's just a marketing genius for himself. And just always saying bullish things about his administration. So, again, coming out and tweeting that he's very close to coming up with a big deal within the trade talks, and so that would mean that a lot of these tariffs would get sorted out and things would be ironed out, and hopefully it'll be in the favor of U.S. companies, which would again provide more fuel to this fire. And this could just be like like this guy right here, or this guy right here, or this guy right here, and just another pebble stone on the way. And we continue to see higher all-time highs within the S&P and traditional markets as a whole. With this sort of talk, I do think that we are going to continue. As I was saying in my previous video, I was saying that there's a good chance that we might continue with this. So we'll keep our eyes on it. We'll keep watching traditional markets, and now that that's going to have an adverse effect on the price of gold. Gold actually rejecting off of this area here at what was the high there? The high was it opened at 139.77. The high was 139.84, and then quickly gave it back. We closed at 138.27 here with gold. Not a surprise here, guys. Not a surprise here. Why? Because of this. Again, this is sort of a hedging tool. It's like a trading pair almost, right? You could trade this thing. It's like Bitcoin versus any alt, right? It's you either go into one or two, but you're using it as a hedge, it's kind of a double hedge You know, when the S&P is doing well, you might get out of gold and get into you know, as the S&P or any stock, while gold is going to respond to the negative side. I mean, that's usually how things are going, and that's usually and typically, or not typically, but recently, that has proven to be the pretty much the behavior, something that you can count on. That's been the trend, and the trend will be your friend until the end of the trend. So, a quick, easy way to trade these two. So let me know what you guys think. If the trade wars are not going to be over, if you think Mr. Trump is full of shit, and we are to not have these conversations go well, and then you know, if that is the case, then you know, you're going to have an adverse reaction in the markets, and definitely have a retest of, you know, maybe the 55 or 89, something that we haven't done in quite a while with the S&P. Would be perfectly healthy too. All right. So let's get on to Mr. Bitcoin, the king. Something actually, the reason I wanted to get on here and record this video is because, although not highly significant, and I say not highly significant because of this, right? But it did warrant an update, I think, in my eyes. We started opening and closing some 4-hour candles above this 30, something that, you know, since back down here, we've been actually down back here, December 9th, we have been unable to get above the 30 here. On the short term of things, you know, we've been dominated and suppressed by the 30 simple, which is always a bearish indicator. But then now here we started to turn it around yesterday, actually, or earlier today. We actually started opening and closing to 4 hours above the 30. But the negative, on the negative side of that is, you know, we did retest it twice and got rejected by it twice. So if we are to really have any sort of conviction on this move, and you know, continue on a more bullish short-term trend, we definitely want to see this price action on the 4-hour at least start to open and close some 4-hour candles above the 21. That'll be pretty significant in my eyes, and I will want to, you know, kind of keep it a close eye, because, you know, that could potentially spike a move higher right now. The other scary thing I have to talk to you guys about, there's just been a huge influx of longs here in the market, and we definitely want to address that. Where are my longs? Here we go. Guys, this is pretty scary. This is pretty scary. And it's up to 41,000 open longs. There's just a lot of people longing the price here of Bitcoin at these levels. I mean, pretty much everyone in the market, anyone trading on leverage is going long on this. Look at the shorts. I mean, shorts did take a little bit of an uptick here, but I mean, it's just a huge discrepancy, and just a huge imbalance in the amount of open longs versus shorts. Now, I'll tell you why that is worrisome to me, and why it's sort of a ticking time bomb if we don't find that the price follows open interest here with the longs. Yep. And let's look at the daily. So this will kind of, you know, start painting a clearer picture. This is what we've got, right? I mean, look at this. When was the last time you saw this? You haven't. We just haven't, right? So, yeah, this is yeah, it's great on paper. It's very nice to look at. I'll give you that. It's very, very nice to look at. However, I mean, it's at an all-time high, guys. It's at an all-time high. Longs are an all-time high. People have never been this long, this convinced that Bitcoin is going to go up. ever. So it's pretty significant. I'll tell you why. If it's like having bearish divergence, right? It's sure you can compare it to that, right? Because here's the thing: if you have that many open longs, that means the price should follow, right? If you don't get follow through on price, this is the easiest way, the dumbest way that I can explain it, or in layman's terms. The best I can simplify it is, it's sort of like bearish divergence. If the price doesn't follow here, and you have all of these open longs, then that's just going to be very, very contradictory, contradicting, however you say that. But it it is going to have a massive impact on the price of on the move, right? So unless we start moving upwards, we start getting that bullish momentum to the upside now. Now keep in mind, it's been several days since we started to get really long on this. I mean, if we go back to November 23rd, this people just started opening longs like crazy. And so if we don't see the price follow with some follow through on that, it's just going to have a really bad, violent move to the downside, and people are going to start really getting really heavily on the bear side, and we're going to see a massive sell-off. Where do we go from here? I mean, look, we're just resting upon this long-term moving average, and we might come back down to the 0.786, right, at right around 5,500. That's where we might come back to. All right, now we're already under on the daily. We're already underneath every major and simple moving average. That's a very significantly bearish posture. And if we don't start moving upwards, that the move, this move just starts to look more and more evident that we do come back and retest about 5,500. All right. Initially, yeah, we might find a quick stop here at 6,800, but then ultimately, I do think we could potentially come back and retest 5,500. Not going to happen in one shot, I don't think. But we are in crypto land, so that's not completely out of the picture. All right, so keep that in mind, guys. Let's see. Yeah, so from a daily perspective, again, we're still pretty bearish. I don't know why this keeps undoing my chart. But and again, what we were just talking about on my last video is we're in a downtrend, guys. We're definitely in a downtrend, and it's going to be very difficult for especially those new guys to make some money on a downtrend like this. You have to be really skilled at this, and it's a lot more difficult to make money on a downtrend like this as opposed to when the market is doing something like this, right? So if you're new, not financial advice, but if you're new, maybe, just maybe, you sit on the sidelines and wait for this thing to really bottom out or finish out. Because I do think, again, although I do think, in my opinion, right, and it's just my opinion, you shouldn't take it as financial advice. I do think we're due for a retest of this descending line of resistance here at around 8,500 before coming back down and retesting against support down here at around 5,900. So as long as we're in this trend, that is something to be expected. A retest here, and just a continued, gradual downtrend, continuation of this downtrend, and we just don't know when it's going to end. Nobody can really say or tell, hey, look, this is going to be the absolute short-term or medium-term bottom, and then we're going to go up from here. Nobody can say that. Nobody can tell that. Back when we were at 3,000, 3,100, People were saying 2,000, 1,000, and then obviously that never happened, right? We never looked back below 3,100. You might want to just sit this one out until we actually start turning things around. What would that look like? Well, we have this descending wedge here, or descending channel. Once we get to about this point here where it's full, I mean, it just looks like this is going to be the trend, right? So once we get to about this area right here where this wedge, this descending wedge or channel is right about almost full, we can definitely expect a move from there. And that being said, now what kind of move can we expect? Well, let's take a look. Right, breaking out of that, this would be sort of the expected move, which would bring us back to about 10,000. Right around there, high 9,000s. Let's see, is that right? Yeah, I mean high 9,000s, right up to about 10,000. Right, that's kind of where we are looking at. If this breaks out to the upside. Now, if we break down, we'd be looking at, yeah, this is too drastic. I don't think we're gonna go that low, are we? I mean, yeah, I don't know. I doubt, right? I doubt it. I doubt it. But I mean, and this would go, this here would go against my long-term analysis. If you guys want to go check that out, I did one a few videos ago where I talk about what the long-term looks like, and for that I used the Bitstamp chart. So if you guys want to go back and check that out, more than welcome to. It's a few videos behind, just kind of giving you the reasons why. I don't think this downtrend is done, but at the same time, there's a good possibility that we get picked up somewhere around the 5,000, low 5,000s to high 4,000s, right? But again, you guys can go back a few videos and watch that where I talk about that particular analysis. All right, so enough of that. Let's actually get into the 4-hour. Let's get into the lower time frames and start dissecting those and see what we can expect. I do like this sort of gradual bottomish looking figure here. It's sort of a rounded bottom here. A lot of people were saying this could be like an Adam and Eve based on this here, this sort of sharp V followed by a rounded sort of bottom and coming back up. So an Adam and Eve, or maybe a cup and handle here, but I do think they both failed because we weren't able to get back above, or back at least to retest this pivot here around 7,800. So that makes things look very fishy in my opinion. Although I mean, it just could be a really bad interpretation of it. But there's still a chance it might actually work out. I mean, this could be the cup and handle here that we're working on, and we might get continuation and retest. If we retest here about 7,500, it could be like a Quasimodo type of what do you call this, a cup and handle. If we retest 7,500, but we're still a couple days at least out up behind that till we really actually figure it out, right? So you can see this sort of rounded bottom here, followed by another sort of rounded bottom. But again, this would have I would have liked to see this side of the cup over here at around 7,500 at least. And then to make a gradual retest of like maybe this here around 7,500. Sorry, am I saying that right? Retest of the 7,800, and then sort of make a gradual descent to test about, I don't know, 75, 7,400 again before actually rounding off and actually coming back up to about 7,800, and then from there having a breakout which is the usual outcome of a cup and handle or an Adam and Eve. But again, this doesn't seem quite right. It just seems like a bad interpretation of one, or a bad, just a bad cover of it. So we'll see. I mean, again, it doesn't mean that it's completely out of the picture. But if we are to call that a cup and handle or an Adam and Eve, we definitely do want to see the price action come back up here sometime soon, especially because we just talked about it on the long side. We definitely want to see that start to happen. Let's actually bring back our EMAs and look at the 4-hour posture again. We're just above the 30. We just opened up another 4-hour. So we're going to go back and kind of recap some of the altcoins we talked about. Nice little close. I mean, pretty strong close, but again, rejected off of the 21. This just looks like it might want to come back and retest the 30 here. We'll see. Too early. I mean, it just opened up literally 4 minutes ago, so we're still too early. But as long as we remain above the 30 here, the 30 simple here, I'm going to stay sort of on the side of the bulls, very short term, until we can prove that we can get above the 21 EMA here. If we don't, then you know what that's going to happen. You know what that's going to lead to. We're probably going to break down below the 30 simple and come back and retest at least. Retest 7100. Now, another thing, I was kind of joking around. You know, I looked at GBTC and the way it closed 2 days ago, and I told you guys we're gonna go down to 7,000s again, below 7100, and you know, kind of you know, conditioned you guys to say, hey, look, if it does go into the 77,000s, then you guys owe me a like. So it did actually hit the 7. Yeah, it did actually go into there. Again, just based on where GBTC closed, I just thought there was a good chance that we were going to go back and into the 7,000s, and we did. So you know, you got to pay your bet, guys. So please give it a like, subscribe, and share the video. All right, or you know, this is going to happen to you. This Chinese guy hitting his balls. It's going to happen to you. Okay, so GBTC, yeah, it's looking pretty good. Let's actually see where it starts tomorrow. I mean, it's just underneath the 30 simple there. I'm hoping that we can get above the 30 as we do see Bitcoin actually getting on top of the 30 simple there. So hopefully GBTC tomorrow will have continuation and actually mimic the price on Bitcoin and get on top or get above the 30 there and start retesting heavily on the 21 and the 89 there. Or I'm sorry, not 89, the 100 simple there. And then, you know, we can start to really get a little bit more hopeful on the price of Bitcoin. But again, you know, I definitely think we're due for a retest of this descending line of resistance here around 86, maybe 8,500. You know, we're definitely due for one of those. So, you know, pay attention, keep your eyes on it. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys are using some other form of technical analysis to come up with your own answers. Love to discuss that stuff. All right, look at ADA, looking like pretty much following right now what Bitcoin's doing. It's not really doing anything different. XLM, yeah, it's just looking even more bearish than Bitcoin. Lost these two. See if it loses this one here, this previous pivot low here. That's going to be very, very dreadful for XLM. VT. Let's check out the new 4-hour. Yeah, I mean, it looks like a continuation. Yeah, this is looking pretty good. Look at where this previous volume candle, green candle above the exponential there. That's a good sign. RSI also getting into the bullish control zone. I do think there could be continuation here. Again, here's my next target. 0.006687. What does that move look like? Probably not a big move, but hey, it's about another 2.5% almost left on this for the time being, right? Next stop in my eyes will probably be around here, 0.007224. All right, that's kind of where I'm placing my bets. Although this is going to be a pretty nice area of resistance right around here at 006946. Let's see if it has it in it. Let's see if VeChain has enough fuel in the tank to actually retest some of these levels here. All right. So there you go. These are my three. You can always, you know, as VAT starts to retest these and get above these, you can, you know, start to de-risk, you know, take 10-15% off the table, 10-15% off. You know, over here you might want to take about 50-75% off of your position there, unless you just see a very dramatic just run up to higher highs, and then, you know, maybe, yeah, maybe up here, yeah. You know, there's your roadmap. There's your roadmap. I'm not trading it, to be completely clear and honest and transparent here. I'm not trading. I'm not in VAT. I only have an open position, long open spot and open long on Bitcoin. So I'm hoping that that's going to play through. For full transparency, that's what I'm doing. Please don't take it as financial advice. It never is. But again, there's a roadmap. All right. Let me know what you guys think on what I'm, you know, suggesting here. From a daily perspective, yeah, I mean, yeah, looking pretty darn. I mean, look at it. I mean, we're pretty much above almost every moving average, whether it's simple or EMA. We're almost on top of it, on top of all of these. We are grinding our way above this previous pivot here, which is good. And then we're just going to have the 30 simple right up here at around 0.006650, which should not represent a whole lot of resistance. And then from there is just, you know, smooth sailing from there. All right, so that's our VET bet. I want to take a look at Link. Quick look here above the 200. I told you guys back here that was going to be the bottom, the short-term bottom. I think it was last week, I did a video and told you guys this, and even I also tweeted about it. So again, if you're not following me on Twitter, definitely hit me up there. Let me know you're following, because you know, sometimes I send you, or I tweet about these signals and let you guys know what happens. So if you follow that, you know, say when I tweeted out, you know, this is the point of this, that's the local bottom there. That's about a 16, almost 17% move from there. So could have been a trade you could have gotten yourself into. All right, so I think we're pretty much done here for tonight. Before I go, I do want to thank those who recently subscribed to the channel. Mainly, thank you, Brian Morton, for subscribing. I also want to thank Wiki for staying engaged, and lastly, want to give a shout out to Isaiah Granville. Thanks for staying engaged, guys. Thanks for being here. The channel is growing, so I really do appreciate it. I am honored to have you guys here. I hope that, as always, you got something in exchange for your time. I also want to thank Cassidy before we go. Thanks for your comment, Cassidy. And yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one. All right, have a great night, guys.